Welcome to the Figure Feedback Podcast. And in this episode, I want to talk about scams. Scams that can affect the 3D printing community as well as content creators who make videos about 3D printing. And I want to talk about that because YouTube's algorithm has fed me some videos lately that have to do with scams. And it was really fitting because I really like looking at that kind of content when it comes to people that expose scams as well as scam baiters and just overall ways to better protect yourself online because they're out here like crazy. And it's a really lucrative thing for them to try to take advantage of influencers, people on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or wherever, they can find people that have eyeballs on them and they'll try to run these different kind of games on you. And I want to talk about what you can do to avoid it and some of the games that these people play to kind of get you roped into it. And another reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I've been making YouTube videos for several years, not just here on Figure Feedback, but on the first channel that I made. That's just my name, Jeremy Hill. And the first video I uploaded there was about 2010, something like that. So I've been making different review videos and been dealing with different companies and just seeing all of these things for a long time. And I've seen the games that some of these people play. So I'm going to just play off that experience and just kind of talk about some things that I've seen, what you can do to avoid it. Now, the first scam that I saw being talked about in a video that YouTube recommended to me had to do with Facebook. Now, I'm not really on Facebook like that, but there are apparently some scams going around where people will basically just say, hey, who wants to test this printer? They'll just put it out there for anybody to respond to. And when people see that, whoa, wait, free printer? Someone is saying like, hey, you want to test it? Yeah, I want to test it because people like free stuff, especially when it comes to 3D printers, because even though there's some great deals out there, they're generally not cheap purchases. So the thought of being able to get a free printer to test and then just share your thoughts about it, yeah, sure, why not? Let's go for it. So what happens is if you respond to that and you say like, hey, I'm interested, then the scam immediately begins where they'll just say, okay, fine. You just have to pay for shipping. Pay for shipping and then we'll send you the printer. Now listen, that is a scam every single time. Okay. Whether you are just a regular person thinking that you just want to test something and give feedback to a company, or if you're a content creator and you want to make a video about it, no well-meaning legitimate company will ever ask you to pay anything out of your own pocket in order to receive their product so that you can test it and make a video about it or write about it or anything. That is never going to happen if the company is legit and if they are not planning to scam you out of money. Because what's just going to happen is they're going to say, okay, you need to pay X amount of dollars for shipping. And they'll take a variety of different payments. What do you got? You got PayPal, Venmo, bank transfer, cryptocurrency, whatever you got. Just give us the money. You'll give them the money and then poof, they'll disappear. You're not going to get anything. They'll have your money. And hopefully you did not provide them with any other kind of information that they can then use to take even more money away from you. Now, in cases like this, you also get put on a list for other scammers because they'll say, hey, here's the sucker. This guy or gal fell for this. So if you want to get some money from them, hey, here's how you can reach them. Here's their email. If you gave them their email, here's their Facebook profile. Reach out to them, message them, do something, and you'll get put on that list. And then other scammers will hit you up for a variety of different things. So whenever someone asks you to pay for shipping or pay for anything, it's always a scam. Now, there are other times where they may ask you to pay for something with the promise of reimbursing you, giving you that money back. Here's the product. We just need for you to buy it. And then once you buy it, you leave a review or do whatever it is they're going to do, and then we're going to give you the money back for it. Now, the thing with that is that can be a scam, but sometimes it's not a scam, but it is really shady. So there are times where if you give into that, you will buy the product with your own money. And the reason why they want you to do that, by the way, is because when you make a legitimate purchase on Amazon, you use your Amazon account and it is shown as being a confirmed purchase from a real Amazon customer. And then that just sort of boosts their position in the algorithm so that the listing for that product will show up on the front page, or it'll show up as an Amazon's choice or something like that. And then when you leave a review, if you do write a review on Amazon, it's going to show up as being a legit verified review from a real person and not just someone who just left a review because somebody told them to. And then that in turn helps the company or the representative of that company that asked you to do that in the first place. Now, there are times where they'll say that they're going to give you the money back, but then they just won't. So you'll be out of your money, but they got the positive review, and then the algorithm gets to help them, but they had no intention of ever giving you anything. Or they will give you the money back, but then that's extremely unethical. It's unethical because that's not a review. Someone pays you to say something positive that doesn't do anything to help anybody except for the seller. And you're doing a disservice to people who are looking for real, legitimate reviews. So that's just not something that you should do. The other thing is, when it comes to Amazon, Amazon finds out that that's what you did, that you were incentivized to make a review. That's actually against Amazon's terms of service, and they will take away your ability to write reviews if they found out that you did that. It doesn't matter if it's an honest review or not, it's against their terms of service. And if they find out, then they'll prevent you from leaving reviews. They're not going to get rid of your account. You'll still be able to purchase things, but you won't be able to write reviews anymore. So that's another thing that they'll try to do. So it's not always a scam when they do that, because you might also notice some things that you buy on Amazon, inside of the box, it'll come packaged with like a note or just some type of material that says, hey, if you give us a 5-star review, you take a screenshot, email it to this address, and we'll give you a gift card. We'll give you a $20 gift card, or there's something that they'll give you in exchange for that 5-star review. And that's another way that a lot of these products, a lot of these companies game the system and how they make it up to the top ranks on Amazon, because people see that and they go, hey, look, free something. And they'll give in and they'll do that. And that, again, it's unethical, but it's not a scam because they do what they say that they're going to do, but it is unethical. And other times it will be a straight up scam because they won't give you anything at all. So that's the Facebook scam. Another type of scam is specifically for like content creators, and it's basically like sponsorship scams. People who really just want to steal your entire account and leave you with absolutely nothing. And the way that they go about doing this, they send emails, So if you're someone like me and you have in your description, or you have on your YouTube channel page some contact information that people can reach out to you for business inquiries, review inquiries, sponsorships, whatever the case may be, you'll have some scammers that can contact you and say, hey, we're from whatever they want to be from. And they'll say that they love your content and they want to sponsor you. They want to give you money to promote their goods or services. And a lot of times, especially if you're up and coming and this is maybe your first sponsorship or the first time someone wants to give you money, or maybe this whole thing just doesn't come by all that often, and you get blinded. You're like, whoa, oh, okay, sponsors is good. Yeah, I'll do it. And then they'll want you to do things such as, well, here's a contract that we're going to send you. Just go ahead and take a look at it. Or we want you to include these video assets in your video. So just go ahead and download this file. It'll have all the information that you'll need. But it's a malicious file. So if you download it to your computer and you open it, then what's going to happen is they're going to hijack it. Hijack your session. So you're logged into Google, right? And they're basically going to hijack your cookies, which basically just means that it will fool Google into thinking that the computer that they're on is actually your computer. So they will be able to just log into your account and completely bypass two-factor authentication and your other security methods that you already might have in place. And which, by the way, if you don't have that stuff in place, you really, really need to, whether it's two-factor authentication or pass keys or the newest security measure now. Whatever it is that you have to do, make sure you have the toughest security that you can manage on your account. Passwords that you may not even know because it's a line of 20 random letters, numbers, and symbols that no one will ever be able to guess. And make sure your account is secure that way. But if they hijack the session, they hijack your cookies, they will take over your channel, they'll change the passwords and stuff to them, they'll delete all of your videos, and they'll either try to ransom it back to you for money, or they're just going to turn it into another scam channel, flood it, filled with bogus crypto live streams with things like, well, Elon Musk is giving away Bitcoin or some garbage like that. And then eventually YouTube's going to shut it down. Your channel is gone. Poof. Now, you may be able to get it back. This has happened to a lot of prominent YouTubers in the past, and reaching out to YouTube, they have been able to work with them and get the channel back. But usually the bigger you are, the better chance you have of that being fixed. But if you're small, then you might just be out of luck. Okay, so the lesson here is don't download stuff and don't install things that people send you as an email attachment. Just for your own security, don't do it unless you know what you're doing and you have like a dedicated machine and it's a virtual machine and you know how to do all that stuff to better protect yourself. Okay, though maybe if you want to take that chance, but most people don't do that kind of stuff. So through all of the different reviews and products and cooperations that I've done, either on Figure Feedback or the other channel, I never had to download or install anything, and you shouldn't do that. All right. So be on the lookout and be aware for stuff like that. Now, the other thing about scams is sometimes things that you think might be scams are not actually scams. You should definitely have the same type of awareness on how to spot potential scams. For example, when someone contacts you and they're asking you to, review a product, and the first thing that you do is you look at the email address and then they have some name at gmail.com. You may immediately say that is a scam because companies are going to have the company name at the end of the email. They're not going to have gmail.com. That never happens, but that's not true. And also, when something ends up in the spam folder, it doesn't automatically mean that it's spam, and it doesn't automatically mean that it's a scam. Sometimes it's not. And I'm saying that from personal experience because sometimes for some of these products, they're not actual like big companies. It's really just a brand name for a product that has been created, and there's probably identical products like that all over the place, but they all have different types of brand names. You've probably seen products like this. You go on Amazon and you'll see a bunch of different things that look the same, but they have different brand names, different random brand names. And there's a good chance they are the exact same product, but someone just said, hey, I'm going to take this many. You put my brand name on it. These people say, okay, I'm going to take that many. I want to put my brand name on it. And, they're just trying to compete to see who sells the most. So they don't have actual company emails associated with that. They just have representatives who create random email addresses, and then they try to do their thing, reaching out to try to get reviews and stuff like that. And when it comes to those types of situations, you still have to do your due diligence to know that, okay, this might not be legitimate, but I'm still going to protect myself in a way so that if it's not, they don't have anything on me. And I'm not giving them anything that is extremely sensitive or that they can use against me to take anything from me or steal anything from me. You're already not going to download any attachments. You're already not going to install anything. So you just want to take it as far as you can to see if it's going to be legit or not, because sometimes it is legit. I've gotten many different products, legitimate products, sent to me, reviewed, everything is fine, from people who did not have a company email attached to their email address. It happens all the time. So, what I do in that situation is just risk management. Hey, would you like to review such and such? Let's just say it was filament. You want to review this type of filament from, company A? And I'll say, yeah, sure. I'll review that filament. What do you need from me? If they say like, well, just need your shipping address and, how long do you think it'll take for you to make the video? I'll say, it might be about a week or two. I'll make the video and all you need is shipping information. Here's where you can ship it to. You need a phone number? Yeah, okay. I'm going to give you a phone number. It's not my personal phone number, but it's a phone number that I have access to. So if you need to attach that to the order, you can use that phone number. All right, cool. If you send me the product, you send me the product. But if not, all you have is a shipping address. And what really can one do with a shipping address? Because you have a ton of shipping addresses. If you just look through the phone book, do people still use phone books? They don't use phone books, but I know that they're still around. But you can go, like Yellow Pages or something. I'm sure they have a website. You can grab anybody's address. So what can you do with that? So if they send the product, great. If you don't, okay, you have my address, along with every other piece of trash scammer out there and thief out there who took information from a data breach, from tons of reputable companies where they're like, oh, they got your email address and your phone number and your age and your birthday, but your social security number or your credit card numbers, they were all hashed and they were salted. So they can't actually get that information. We've been a part of so many different data breaches, someone getting your email address, your phone number, your home address. It's already out there. So I'm personally not worried about that. But that's all you're going to get. You're not going to get any kind of like bank account information. You're not going to get any social security numbers. You're not going to get my driver's license. You're not going to get that stuff. And if it's a sponsorship deal, then it can be paid through PayPal. Here's the PayPal email address. You can use it if you want. The only thing that you can do with it is use it to send me money. You're not going to be able to log in just by using that email address, especially if you have all of the security that you should have already on it, such as your crazy random password and two-factor authentication. They won't be able to get in, all right, 99% of the time. So if you want to take that email address and just give me money, go right ahead. So that protects you in that way as well. So the most important thing is mitigating the risk. So if you give someone some information, is this the type of information that you don't think would be really hurtful to you if it were to go beyond them and someone else were to find out, like your phone number or your email address or your home address? Is that something that really bothers you, considering the fact that you've likely been a part of many data breaches in the past before, and there's not really too much that you can do with that particular type of information? And as far as giving money in exchange for a product to come in because you got to pay for shipping or you got to pay for the product and we'll give it back to you, I'll tell you a really brief story about my other channel. Years ago, I had a company who's a legit company who sells like audio equipment. And they wanted me to review some microphones that they had. And part of it was they wanted me to pay, I think it was pay for half the product. And then they would send me the other half. And then I would use that to buy the product and then do a review on it. And I told them, like, no, if you want me to review this, then you have to send me the product. And their reasoning behind it is, well, basically they didn't know if they could trust me or not because we really haven't cooperated before, and they're trying to make sure that I just don't take the product and run off and not give them what I said I was going to give them. So their thought was, if you put up some money, then you're more likely to go through with it than if we were to just send it to you for free. But to me, I'm like, well, that's not my problem. If you want me to showcase your product and do a review on it, you need to assume that risk. And if you don't think that you can trust me or whatever, then do some research. Go look at some of the other videos, see what other types of reviews that I've done, different partnerships or whatever. And then you can make that determination of whether or not you think that I'm trustworthy to send that product to me. Okay. And even if something were to happen and I can't make the review from like injury or illness or something like that, then as a company, you got to be willing to take that hit and be like, hey, chalk it up as a loss. You know, a lot of times it probably won't happen if you're dealing with the right people, but that's still a risk that you have to take. And that's not a burden that you think you should have to share with the company because they're reaching out to you. You're not reaching out to them. And even if you were, you still shouldn't have to put up any of your own money to get anything from them, because they are going to be reaping the benefits of the publicity and probably increased sales based on the content that you create. So it's just part of doing business. You want someone to check out your product, you got to send it to them. You can't ask them to help pay for it. It's not the way it works. So that's what I told them. Like, no, I'm not going to do it. And eventually they said, okay, we'll just send it to you. And they did. And I remember reviewing it and the product was fine. It was a decent product. I believe I gave it a good review and, that all worked out. But that is not something that's happened very often at all. And it has never happened here on Figure Feedback. And if that were to ever, come up, I'll just do the same thing that I told you I'm going to do. It's not happening. I'm not paying anything to receive a product for any reason whatsoever. So yeah, those are just a few of the different types of scams and schemes and things that I picked up along the way since making videos since about 2010. And the whole thing about scams is a lot of times they don't change. They're just the same game. They're the same script, and it's just a different situation for a different genre, a different niche. And if you check out some scam baiting content over on YouTube from some people that I follow, like Kit Boga, Scammer Payback, who else do I follow? Manoa Poison, Pleasant Green, Jim Browning, Deo, a whole host of people who do this, and you'll be able to just literally be able to see the different scripts and different methods that scammers use on a day-to-day basis to kind of keep you informed and up to date and better insulated against this kind of stuff. All right, so that is going to do it for this episode. If you found it helpful, you found it useful, please leave a comment or leave a like. And if you've experienced anything like this, tell us what's happened to you down in the comment section, because the more that we can inform people about ways to better protect themselves online when it comes to these scams, especially when it comes to the the 3D printing community, because it's going to keep growing, then the better off we'll all be. All right, so that's it for now. Thank you all so much for watching. Till next time, take care of yourselves, and I'll speak to you soon.